Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Today, I know it's Wednesday. Welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have a tricky one today, so we are ramping up the difficulty. And if you're new here, you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily puzzle and it grows in difficulty along the week. So today we have this tricky one, and I usually play and explain my logic as I go. So hopefully, I get a perfect solve and help you solve yours if you get stuck or you need any help with the mechanics. And the link to play is in the description. The rules are 20 people. Each of them has to either be a criminal or an innocent, and we gotta figure that out with the clues that they give us. So let's start this and see how it goes. So we start today with Sia telling us that Rob is one of 3 criminals above her. So Rob is a criminal. There's 4 people above Sia. So 3 of them are going to be criminals, which means only one innocent, but we don't know who the other criminals are yet. But Rob says that both criminals below Derek are connected. So we know that besides Sia, 3 people who are above Sia are above Derek, because Derek is one of the people who is above Sia. So that means that of those 3, there's going to be 2 criminals, and one of them is already Rob. The other one is either going to be Mary or Ike. So where's the third criminal that is above Sia? It has to be Derek himself, right? Now, why did I tag Ike and Mary as yellow, both of them? Because they are in opposite pairs. So that means that one of them is going to be a criminal, the other one is going to be an innocent, and when any of them become one, we know that the other one automatically becomes the other, and we keep track of that by the tags. But we don't need Rob's or Sia's clue anymore because we have tagged them, and we keep track that way. Now, Derek says that Tina has exactly 2 innocent neighbors. Where's Tina? We double click Derek's clue here to highlight Tina, so her name pops up here, and she has 5 neighbors total. 2 of those 5 are going to be innocents. One of them is Sia. How do I do this now? Because oh, it says both criminals below Derek are connected. So the other one has to be Mary, because it's the only person connected to Rob who is a criminal, who could also be a criminal. So we know that Mary and Ike are criminal and innocent. And going back to Derek's clue, now we know that Tina's second and last innocent neighbor is either going to be Nancy or Zane. So we tag them with yellows like we did with Ike and Mary. And now we can dismiss Rob's clue. So we can click on it because we don't get any more new information. Or Derek's clue. We don't get any new information from that either. Ike says there are as many innocent painters as there are innocent pilots. Where are all the pilots? So double clicking here to see all of the professions. We have 3 pilots and 2 painters. The painters are Mary and Nancy, one of which is already a criminal. So there could be at most 1 innocent if Nancy is an innocent, but we don't know if she is one yet. So let's keep that there. Mary says there's an odd number of innocents below Joy. So there's 1 innocent below Joy here who's either Nancy or Zane, and there's only 1 more person, Tina. And if Tina were to be an innocent, we would end up with 2 innocents below Joy, and that's an even number, so we actually need Tina to be a criminal. And now we don't need Mary's clue. Tina says that exactly 3 of the 9 criminals on the edges are Rob's neighbors. So there's 9 criminals on the edges around the board, and we only know about 2 of them so far. Tina is one of them. The second one is either going to be Nancy or Zane who neighbor her. There's 14 people on the edges, so that means if 9 of them are criminals, we have 5 innocents. And we know about 1 of the innocents. But 3 of those 9 criminals are Rob's neighbors, and Rob has 5 people neighboring him on the edges. So look at how much information you can get from that single clue if we look at the whole board picture. Rob has 2 criminals already here in column D, and he needs a 3rd one, but there's only Vince left, so Vince has to be a criminal in this case. And we keep Tina's clue to keep track of the number of criminals on the edges. Vince now says that Irving is one of 3 criminals in column D. So Irving has to be a criminal, but we also get that we already had 2 criminals here in column D with Tina and somebody else that neighbors her. Now with Irving, that totals 3, so that makes Joy an innocent. We have now 3 innocents on the edges, only 2 to find. And we don't need Francisco anymore, but Irving now says there's an odd number of criminals below Ben. So Ben has 4 people below him. If there's an odd number of criminals among those 4 people, could there be only 1 criminal? Because that's an odd number. That would make the other 3 people who are below Ben innocents. What happens then? There's too many innocents on the edges because there's Joy, Sia, either Nancy or Zane. That's 3, and we have 3 more here. But before we had made the equation or the sum of how many innocents were on the edges, and we know there's 5 total. So we couldn't have only 1 criminal be below Ben. We need 3 of them. And only 1 innocent here. Now, if there's only 1 innocent below Ben, and we need 1 more innocent on the board, on the edge, then where's that 1 innocent? It has to either be Ben or Carol. So we get now that Ben and Carol are opposites. That's really strange, right? Because it has nothing to do with the number of criminals below Ben. But it has everything to do with the number of criminals below Ben. Joy says there's an equal... No, there are exactly 4 criminals in column A. So we know now there's 3 criminals in column A from below Ben here, and we need a 4th one. It has to be Ben then. And Ben was opposites with Carol, so that makes Carol an innocent. Now we don't need Joy's clue anymore because we knew the total already. And I guess we need Irving's clue to remember that there's 3 here. But Ben says that an odd number of innocents below him, neighbor Peter. Where's Peter? So Peter has 3 people neighboring him who are below Ben. And he couldn't have only 1 of them be a criminal, because if that were the case, then there would be too many innocents below Ben. So he needs 3 people who neighbor him to be criminals. That makes Kevin, Olivia, and Uma all criminals, and Freya an innocent. Oh, an odd number of innocents. Oh, I don't get a perfect one today because I don't know how to read. But we know that Freya is surely not an innocent because we go by the opposite here. We know that the single innocent that is below Ben neighbors Peter, so it couldn't be Freya. Oh my god. That's terrible of me. But okay, that's to show you that you really need to pay attention to the clues you're reading. And all of us have those days where we misread something, or we switch things in our heads. Sometimes we switch odd and even, sometimes we switch innocent and criminal. And I so very often here on the channel switch column and row. I don't know why, but that's so common. It happens so often because we're thinking about one and reading about the other, so we switch them in our heads. So it's fairly okay. Like, don't worry about that. Don't stress out because you got a misclick there. Me telling that to myself. Carol says there's an odd number of innocents neighboring Peter. So Peter has 1 innocent here in column A neighboring him, and the second one who is Sia, so he needs a 3rd one to make an odd number. And there's only Lisa who could be the 3rd one, so Lisa has to be an innocent. Now we don't need Carol's clue anymore, or Ben's actually. But Freya says that Lisa has exactly 2 innocent neighbors. Where's Lisa? Lisa has Ike as one of the innocent neighbors, so she's gonna have to have a 2nd one. And Lisa says that 1 cop is an innocent directly below them. There's a clue from before that I haven't acted on, right? Ike's clue. There's many innocent painters as there are innocent pilots. So it's diabolic to put that clue there when we're not gonna use it for so long. So far, no innocent pilots and no innocent painters. So Peter and Nancy are actually samesies. And we know there's 1 cop who has an innocent directly below them. There's 3 cops, Ben, Freya, and Olivia. Ben doesn't have an innocent below him. He has a criminal already. Freya could have an innocent. And if that were the case, Olivia would have a criminal. And that's fine. If Freya had a criminal, it would have to be Olivia who has an innocent, but Both of the people who are below these cups, Freya and Olivia, are neighboring Peter and are below Ben. So we know that if either Kevin or Uma here, who are below the cups, are an innocent, then that makes Olivia a criminal, because there's only one innocent among these three people here. So Olivia has to be a criminal. And she gives us a new clue. There's a number of innocents naming Rob. Rob has 3 innocents so far. Lisa, Sia, and somebody else here shared with Tina. And there's only Peter left neighboring him. So if Peter were an innocent, then Rob would end up with 4 innocents, and that's an even number, which makes Peter a criminal. Now, no innocent pilots. So we know that Nancy is a criminal, which makes Zane an innocent. And we finally dismiss Ike's clue. Zane gives us a new clue. 2 pilots have a criminal directly to the left of them. So there's 3 pilots, we know from before, and 2 of them already have criminals to their left. So that's the 2 pilots that Zane is referring to, which makes Vince, the 3rd pilot, need an innocent to his left. Uma has to be an innocent then, and she swaps it with Kevin, who is a criminal. And now, because Lisa has to have a 2nd innocent, that makes Hall an innocent here. Oh, I'm so sad about the yellow. It happens. It happens. Like I said, let's not cry about yellows when the purpose of the thing is to teach you. But I really try not to beat myself up when I don't pay attention to the clue. And it's so obvious. It's just something where, like, you're not reading it right. It gets me. But I'm gonna get over it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And you didn't cringe too much at me reading the clue wrong and clicking so eagerly at the wrong answer, which was pretty obvious. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. Bye-bye.